Yo, what's going on, Gooners and Goonerettes? Good to see you guys again. And let's talk about the game last night, and then we'll come on to Mudryk and what's going on in the transfer market. Now, thanks for everybody who came on the stream last night. I was in all sorts. I've been drugged up for the last few days because I've had some spinal injury issues which I've had to deal with. I do want to say that it was one of those games that you would expect in the FA Cup, but some people got frustrated, and you really have to reiterate the fact that this is the FA Cup. Some of these teams, this is their holy grail. This is the game that they've been waiting to play in all their lives. It's worth so much to these teams in the non-leagues and the lower leagues, and they fight for their lives. And Oxford fought for their lives in the first half, kind of made it a snooze fest. And I get that. That's what happens when teams are giving all. Arsenal figuring themselves out. The midfield was relatively weak, and one can say that the investment that we have to make over the next 6 months definitely has to be in that area, because you want quality in, quality out. But I have to keep going back to the fact that a lot of teams are stockpiling strikers and attackers and things like that. Chelsea, Liverpool continue to neglect the midfield. Manchester United fans will tell you that they've never replaced goals in the middle of the park. Although one must argue that whether they've done that with Bruno Fernandes, I think that he's an adequate player, and I think he is that replacement, but then it's taken them a decade to get there. For Arsenal, we've got dogs in the middle, and they will continue to raise their game. You could see what a difference it was just not having Odegaard, Xhaka and Partey there. Makes such a difference to how the cog in the machine works, especially Thomas Partey. There was hardly any transitional game yesterday moving from defence to attack. The attackers were pretty much snuffed out. Saka didn't do much. Martinelli, outside of the Nketiah assist, didn't do much for the game. And Eddie struggled because of it. He had the effort that was over the bar, and Sambi had the effort which should have been a penalty. I mean, that was stone cold. I did explain how the VAR worked. VAR is in the FA Cup, but only for Premier League teams, because the lower league teams don't have the facilities to bring Hawkeye and the VAR into play. So it is only viable for Premier League teams playing home matches. And that's the thing that I talked about on the stream last night. But overall, you have to give credit to Oxford. I thought they came out and they showed their stuff. I think the manager would be proud of what they did in the first half. And for Arsenal, there was just a few adjustments that was made. Ben White came on, Xhaka came on, Zinchenko came on. That pretty much changed the envelope of the game. And Fabio Vieira with two fantastic assists. The first one was the free kick, which he dropped a dime in an ocean. If you saw the way how the ball dipped in the last 5 yards right onto El Nene's head, absolutely pin perfect delivery from him. And then the Nketiah third goal, just absolutely quality. You can see through Nketiah's experience and his training with all those goals, he points to the spot where he wants the ball. And Fabio Vieira not only puts it in the place, but the weight of the ball is enough to speed past the defender and slow just before it gets to the goalkeeper. Just enough for Eddie to get his first touch again. Quality first touch, as always, from Eddie in the box, which sets himself up to go around the goalkeeper. That was the second goal. And then the third goal was then Eddie gets the ball from Martinelli and just dinks the ball, perfectly weighted dink over the... I mean, Eddie makes it look so easy. To do something like that, you see some of our strikers when they get in that position and they blast it at the goalkeeper, and maybe the goalkeeper gets a touch on it, or they have to go high into the top of the net. Eddie's just cool mannerism and poise just speaks volumes when he's in that situation. Guys, that's now 4 in his last 4 since Jesus' injury. He has a crazy scoring record now. I think it's like 20 goals in the last 24 starts. In the Premier League, it's 7 in his last 10. It's just ridiculous. And for someone like him, I've always dreamt of Eddie starting up front for us throughout a whole season. Because how many times have I told everybody that he'll be another Andy Cole or Dwight York? He'll get you 20 to 25 goals in a season. And everyone says, nah, you must be joking. Now you guys are actually starting to see it. Now you guys are actually starting to see what will happen if Eddie starts up front for your team for a whole season. It's funny, isn't it? It's only been 3 weeks. It's not even been a month since the World Cup finished. December the 18th. It's only been 3 weeks, and this guy's already joint top scorer with 7 goals. It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers in terms of what Eddie's been able to do. And I've always strongly believed that he'll get you 20 goals. I mean, he's getting 100 grand a week. Believe me, that is a good deal considering what Eddie can give you. Name me any other strikers outside of Haaland that is scoring at the rate that Eddie is. Name me. Tell me any other strikers that are scoring at the rate that Nketiah is scoring. So this brings difficulties because if you're sourcing another striker or you're looking to bring in somebody, you have to find someone that is going to be scoring at least as the same as Eddie, and that is impossible to do. You can go around the grill. And I said this before, when I put up the Barclays fantasy numbers, and Ivan Toney was averaging 4.9 points per game. Eddie's averaging over 5 points per game. So Eddie's averaging, as a fantasy striker option, more points than Ivan Toney. And we know how good Ivan Toney is. But Eddie just scores you goals. That's what he does. So Arsenal now go away to Man City, which I'm really looking forward to because it's away at home. It's in a hostile environment. We're going to be covering the game on the live stream, so I kind of like that. But I would have preferred for the game to be at home. But look, you can't always have it your own way. Going into the lines then and taking away the top man, that's really what you want. Because if you win there at the Etihad, you're pretty much favourites to win the FA Cup. And then the treble is on. FA Cup, Europa League and Premier League title. The treble is on. So I'm really looking forward to that. The only concern that I've had is Bukayo Saka coming off the pitch last night, which they said it might be a mild muscle strain, but I mean, we really don't know what it could be. According to Arsenal and Arteta, they're saying it's nothing and the player's fine, but only time will tell. They do tend to release these training videos now and again, and so if they do that, we'll probably see how Saka fares. And if not, we've got the conferences which happen towards the end of the week, where I'm sure Arteta would be in front of the cameras talking about what's going on with the preparations for Spurs on the weekend. So it's going to be a big game Sunday. And remember, I said to you guys, it's been a while since anyone has done the double over each other. You know, we always win at the Emirates, Tottenham always win at their place, and that's been the way how things have been over the last 5 or so years. So it's up to Arsenal now to change and push the narrative and own that by winning at Spurs. And I do believe that they can win there. It'd probably be about 2-1 Arsenal if I had to guess. And that's a game that Eddie, Saka and Martinelli have to turn up big in, and our midfield, Odegaard, Xhaka and Partey. We need a full 90 minutes from those guys, because the weakness with Spurs is just their midfield and defence. And standout players always come from their front two. I'm not even going to say front three. And so if you can nullify Kane and Song, then you've pretty much got their number. And so many teams have been able to sort of do that with Song this year. Kane's been on a different level. If it wasn't for Haaland, Kane would be on a different level by himself this season, because he's scoring in almost every game. So really, it's a big test for our boys, and it's up to Saliba now and Gabriel to see if they're up for the fight, especially Saliba, who's been on poor form of late. But the one thing that I do want to sort of discuss is Mudryk. As I said in the stream last night, I'm hearing that things are getting close. Arsenal don't look like they're going to put a third bid in for it to be rejected, so they're going to strongly get to the point of negotiation where they know Shakhtar will accept the bid. So they're very close on Mykhaylo Mudryk. As I said, despite travelling for their winter training, Arsenal are locked in on heavy negotiations, and it does look good, guys. I think it's more apparent now because Felix has gone to Chelsea. That would have been your number 2 option. He probably would have been my number 1 option. So good luck with that, Felix. I don't know how you're going to work yourself around that. To me, that looks like when they start getting players fit again, like the Raheem Sterlings and that, then there's probably going to be no place for Felix. But Arsenal, as always, treated Mudryk as their number 1 priority. And I think that they're going to get it done, guys. I think they're going to get there. It's just a shame that they couldn't get it done before the Spurs game. It would have been great to see him come on against Spurs. We still have no player in relief. I mean, Smith Rowe is there now. So we have Smith Rowe and Vieira in relief of some attacking options. But my issue is you didn't use Vieira the other day against Newcastle, and you didn't bring him on. And you should have brought him on. I don't buy the lightweight thing. I told you guys before, I don't buy it. You saw what happened last night It was a very physical game against Oxford, and he came in and he supplied two fantastic goals, and that's what he does for you. And for me, he should have played. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, guys. Really looking forward to this game on the weekend, just for us to stamp our authority. This is where a lot of rival fans are looking for Arsenal to go down now. We've dropped points against Newcastle. If you don't get a result against Spurs, then people are going to say now that there's a chink in the armour at Arsenal and they're not getting the results. In order for us to maintain this, we have to keep on winning. And I think that we can do that on the weekend. I'll speak to you guys later, man. Really good to see you guys. And peace out, man. Right back at you.